What's up, boys and girls and everything in between? Just kidding. Welcome to a new series. This one I like to call The Road to a Million. The Road to a Million. The Road to a Million what, you might be asking? The Road to a Million videos? The road to a million viewers, subscribers, dollars, NFTs, cigarettes, weed ounces. The road to a million what? Well, let's go on a drive and we'll talk about it. Here we go. All right. So, the road to a million, right? Let's just say that we are talking about dollars right now. So you want to make $1 million. All right, that's fair. A lot of people want to make $1 million. So the first thing you have to say to yourself is, what makes me different from these other clowns that want $1 million? And you can come up with a lot of stuff. You can come up with a lot of stuff, my friend. You can come up with like I'm smarter than them. You can say I'm smarter than them. You can say I'm stronger than them. You can say I'm more attractive. You can say all kinds of things. You can say all kinds of things. But the only thing that's going to make a difference between you and the other people that want $1 million, I'm just waiting for this to turn to like a live leak. Like, guy records his own car crash video that gets leaked, you know what I mean? Anyway, the only thing that makes you different from everybody else that wants $1 million, or the only thing that will make you different, I should say, because maybe this isn't you, but the only thing that's going to make you different than all those other people is how much you want it. Now, I know that's a tired old meme. All right, I know it's a tired old meme. People say that all the time, especially these like mental, or what would you call it? Andrew Tate tier gurus, these Sigma male gurus. Like they're like, the only this is my Andrew Tate impression. The only difference, right, between you and the other guy is how much the other guy wants $1 million. Because if the other guy wants $1 million more than you, he's going to get the fucking $1 million. That's my Andrew Tate impression. And, anyway, so, but it's true. I don't know if you ever said that, but if you did, that's actually true. It's not the only difference, but the biggest difference between you and anybody when it comes to wanting $1 million of something is how badly you want it. So how badly do you really want it? You have to think about it, you know? You have to think about it for a second. Oh my days, a guy can't even record a video. A guy can't even record a video in the comfort of the highway. But yeah, the only thing that makes you different is how much you want it. And as I was saying, you have to ask yourself, how much do you really, really want $1 million of anything? But we're talking about money here. How much do you really want $1 million? Do you really want $1 million, or do you really want like a Big Mac from McDonald's? You have to ask yourself that. And you have to ask yourself that all the time, because it will reaffirm your belief that you want $1 million. You know what I'm saying? So like, some dude, all right, I guarantee you know somebody like this. Some 19-year-old, young spry buck talks to you about some business idea he has, right? Some Brazilian guy comes up to you and asks you, and he tells you about a business he has. There are tons of people like that, and they have kind of like a surface level desire for $1 million. People like that, they don't even really want $1 million. They want to be a millionaire. Does that make sense? is what I'm saying making sense to you? They don't want $1 million. I mean, everybody wants $1 million, but they don't necessarily want $1 million. They want the status and the social notoriety that comes with that. That's what they want. They don't necessarily want the $1 million. And that kind of desire, that kind of wishy-washy, I'm doing this for social status, I'm doing this so other people will see me, that kind of desire, that kind of motivation will not take you to where you need to be. You will falter, you will stumble, you will give up. So you have to ask yourself, how badly do I really want $1 million? And if you're being honest with yourself, a lot of people would say they don't want $1 million. You know what I mean? They would rather have something else. They would rather have sex, or drugs, or peace of mind, or anything. There are a lot of, or like health, six-pack. You know what I mean? And the thing, to be 6'4", but the thing is that that's not even a bad thing. It's not a bad thing not to want $1 million. Most people should be like that. Most people should be like, I don't really want $1 million. I just want like a stable job and a family. That should be most people. Because as you can tell, as is kind of obvious, most people aren't millionaires. No shit. So if most people aren't millionaires, then majority of people shouldn't want to be millionaires. And majority of people don't actually want to be millionaires. They just like saying that, they just like fitting in, they just want the social status, etc., etc. And that might be you. That might be you. And so I call to you, watching this, to look inside your heart and ask yourself, do I really want $1 million? Like, is that really what I want? Or do I want like a dog? Or do I want a girlfriend? Or do I want to reconcile with my mom? Or do I want to volunteer at a soup kitchen? You have to look inside yourself and ask, do I really, really want this $1 million? And let's say after all of that, give that like 2 weeks. Meditate on that for like 2 weeks and then come back to me. But after that 2 weeks, after the 2 weeks of meditating, if you still are like, yeah, I want $1 million. I thought about it. I thought of the implications. I thought about every possible, any other desire I might have doesn't beat the $1 million. Okay, fair enough. I'm not judging you. It's not bad to want $1 million. It's not good to want $1 million. It's just a desire. It's not that deep. But let's say after 2 weeks of meditation on this particular subject, you decide that you still want to make $1 million. That's something that you actually want to do, right? So then you have to ask yourself, okay, I want the $1 million, right? Now you have to ask yourself, am I willing to put in the work, and am I willing to put in the daily grind set, that Sigma grind set? Am I willing to give it all up for that $1 million? You have to ask yourself that. Am I willing to give everything up? Now, you don't actually have to give everything up to make $1 million, but you have to have that mindset of, I am willing to sacrifice everything to make this $1 million. And then you have to ask yourself, am I willing to do that? Am I willing to give up everything for this $1 million? And then meditate on that for 2 weeks, and then come back to me. And then that shrinks the amount of people that even want $1 million to begin with. So like, all right, hold on. So let me clarify, right? Now that I have the window closed. So basically, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, do I really want $1 million? Okay. And then if you decide, yeah, I do really want $1 million, then you have to ask yourself, okay, I want $1 million. Am I willing to sacrifice everything to get that $1 million? I don't even really need these right now. So, excuse me. And once you've decided that you are or aren't willing to sacrifice everything for that $1 million, then we'll talk about it in the next episode. But most people are not like that. Okay? Because first you have to ask everybody, do you really want $1 million? And then I think like 90% of people will be like, no. I thought about it and I don't want $1 million. Or I don't want to make $1 million. Whatever. Then the second thing, are you willing to sacrifice everything to make $1 million? And that shrinks the pool even more, right? Because now all those people who said, I do want to make $1 million, have to think about it. And I think 8% of the people will be like, no, I don't want to sacrifice everything for $1 million. I want to make $1 million, but I don't want to sacrifice everything for that $1 million, right? And so that means 2% of people are actually willing to make $1 million. So if you can answer those two questions confidently and with conviction, then you might be able to make $1 million. But then there's still the question of, first of all, how honest are you being? You have to be honest with yourself. Do I really want $1 million? Then you have to put in the work. So after that questionnaire, you still have to do the work. You still have to do the dirty work. So yeah, that's about it. I'm going to stop there, but I'm going to keep going until I park. So I'm going to try and think of something else to say here. Because I'm saving the rest for next episode. There will be another episode. Sooner rather than later. But that's the first episode. So if you want to make $1 million of anything, not just dollars, but anything, you want to make $1 million of everything or anything, you have to ask yourself, do I really want to do this? Like, do I really want to have and make $1 million of this thing? And then you have to ask yourself, am I willing to sacrifice everything for it? And then we'll talk. That's it. Now I'm repeating myself. And now I'm repeating myself. And now I'm repeating myself. Let's just do a life update. If you made it this long, listen, man, I'm off the weed again. That's right. I'm off the marijuana. All right? If you're smoking weed, you got to get off it, man. I know it's good. I know it's the best thing you've ever smoked. I know it's the only thing that makes you happy. Okay? I'm the same way. But happiness isn't all there is to life. You know what I mean? There's more to life than happiness. So, give up the weed. And I know it's hard, by the way. I know it's not as easy as just giving it up. I was trying to go to sleep last night, right? And it took 3 hours for me to fall asleep. And it was miserable. It was like one of the worst, I'm not going to say it's one of the worst nights of my life, but it was one of the worst attempts at falling asleep I've had in a long, long time. It was so bad, man. And I promise I wasn't on my phone or anything, man. I was playing, quiet Minecraft music. I had my cat with me, and I was trying so hard to fall asleep, and it just wasn't happening. I did eventually fall asleep, but by that point it was like 1 a.m., maybe 1:30, possibly bordering on 2. So I know this doesn't really have to do with the subject matter, but the weed, giving up the weed is tough. Okay, your appetite gets thrown into disarray, your sleep gets thrown into disarray, your emotional state, your emotional being, everything gets thrown into disarray. So I'm not saying it's not hard, but what I am saying is that it's probably worth it, and you should probably go ahead and try and quit marijuana. And me, I just do the old willpower method. I just go, all right, I guess I'm just going to stop. And then I stop buying it. And something. I just deal with it. I deal with the withdrawal. I deal with the whatever. But, maybe you don't have that kind of willpower. That's fine. I'm not judging you for that. But you have to think of something. If you don't have the willpower, you have to think of something that will help you quit the weed, the cannabis, the devil's lettuce. You need to think of something that will help you quit that. Because that shit is no good. That shit will ruin your life before you even realize your life is over. So I'm about done here. Thanks for watching. The road to $1 million. $1 million what? $1 million? $1 million subscribers? $1 million NFTs? $1 million bitches? $1 million something or other? A million reasons to... Wait, what's the fucking stupid show? 13 Reasons Why? 13 Reasons Why I Killed Myself. I'm not making fun of suicide. I'm just making fun of that show because it's kind of stupid. Alright, so yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Hold on, I'm about to park here. Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to park me? Yeah, you want to park me?